You must have all got sleep last night. You are here on time. You should give yourselves a round of applause, right? I am moved. A couple house cleaning notes before we begin. Again, good morning. My name is Daniel Bauer. I'm one of the organizing committee's members here. My third year moderating this incredible conference. Today is World AIDS Day. Let's just sort of internally reflect on that for a moment. What does that mean for you? I'm going to ask you to silence your cell phones. I'm going to ask you to take as little distraction as possible. And I want to start by showing you a reflection of what World AIDS Day means for some people, followed by a video of the story of my life. And then I'm going to turn you into teenagers, and you're going to pretend you're teenage kids and what I would do, or what I'm doing this year with teenage kids when I walk in to give awareness and to inspire prevention and to encourage hope and to eradicate stigma. So welcome to the second day of the third International HIV STI Conference, and let's begin.
Do you ever get the feeling that at some point in time there is someone who looked just like you, but was born at a different time? My name is Tyler Curry. I am a writer and a photographer, and I live in Dallas, Texas. I was born in September 1983, 1 month before the HIV virus was identified. At that time, the disease was known as some kind of gay cancer that was an almost certain death sentence. But there were some who survived. They were called the lucky ones. I was diagnosed with HIV in July of 2012. I had only had the virus for about 9 months, and I was 75 T-cell counts away from an AIDS diagnosis. My biggest concern was dating, premature aging, finding someone to love, and more importantly, finding someone to have sex with. A luxury. Because the man who walked like me and talked like me, who liked the same things that I liked, who made the same mistakes I made, he didn't make it. This would have been the first mark that I found, Kaposi sarcoma. Then there was no HIV test. So often this was the first time you knew that you were infected. 6 months to a year later, and things are only getting worse. Everything hurts. My lungs feel like they're on fire. I always have a fever and I have no energy. People would be afraid to touch me. Friends would leave me, too depressed by looking at my face. Half of my friends would be dead. Around my 31st birthday, I probably would have died. My face would no longer be my face. It would be a symbol of a plague. If you're a gay man who's alive and well today, be happy, be thankful, go and live your life. This is not my face. Because I was born in 1983. I'm gonna go wash this off and go and live my life. Turns out I am one of the lucky ones.
Just unwrapped a gift given to me by both of my parents, and it was a Blackstone Harry Jr. magic kit. And it was at that point that I knew that it was my destiny, it was my biggest dream to become the next legend in the art of magic and escape, to become the evolution of the Harry Houdini legacy. And I was well on my way to conquering that dream. It was this close. I was just weeks away from signing a major sponsorship deal with a brand, international brand, that had become really interested in who I was and the idea that I would be the next big name in the world of magic and escape. And they fell in love with this escape that I was engineering, an escape where I would be restrained in straitjackets, chained in shackles, and then plunged into a human-sized fish tank, meeting the wrath of 1,000 piranha, 90 seconds to escape alive. This new production, Alive, had now become a liability when the company learned that I was HIV positive. My dream was gone at that point. I gave up. I was so ashamed of my diagnosis that I had lied to everybody around me that this project was still happening. I became addicted to drugs, and I became this horrifying creature that was stealing and robbing and cheating and lying and stealing and robbing and anything and everything else possible. I became scary for many, many people. I became scary for myself. It got so bad that I wanted to die. My dreams were gone. Everybody was scared of the virus, and I had nowhere to go. And luckily I was able to get some help and to believe in my dreams again, and now working to bring Project Alive back. Journey that will prove to our global community that HIV should not be feared. Those of us living with HIV, we too can make a difference in this world. We too can live out our dreams.
I was first introduced to HIV. I'm still teary-eyed. I've done a lot of that. I have a baby brother. This is Andy Bauer. And, I grew up in a family, 7 brothers, 1 sister. And it was all process. You either stuck your head in the Bible, or you didn't come home with anything less than an A from the textbook and learning in school, or you would get whooped with a thick orange extension cord. We didn't have any affection. We were never told I love you by mom and dad. And Andy rebelled. He rebelled. He started smoking marijuana. He started skipping class just so he could come home to get the beating, because he felt like that was the only affection he could get from mom and dad. And he then began snorting heroin. Then he began shooting up heroin. And Andy had come home one day, really bottom of the barrel, and begging for help. And I was home at the time with my mother and my brother Tommy. And Andy said, I'm really sick. I'm really sick, and I really need help, and I want to get better. We're like, what do you mean sick? He's like, I got HIV from sharing needles, from doing drugs. My brother Tommy gets up off the couch, punches him in the face, and says, take you and your AIDS disease and get out of the house and never come back again. And my family told me that if myself or my brothers had any contact with Andy, we would be asked to leave as well, because their ignorance about people living with HIV is still deep-rooted today. They believe you can contract HIV from shaking somebody's hand, or giving a hug, or eating off the same plate or the fork, or drinking out of the same glass. They still believe that today. I lost a baby brother that day. But I was really, really destined. I wasn't so utterly scared of the virus. So I, at the time, was really building my career as a magician. And I ended up going out to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, before I was diagnosed, to work with 6 young boys and 6 young girls from Camp Heartland who were living with the virus at the time. And this was just after the Ryan White story had come out. And for those of you that don't know Ryan White, he is the pillar of hope for all of us living with HIV today. That little boy was the definition of courage. So I'd like to share a little story with you about one of the little boys that I met while I was on tour. But I need an assistant. I need a volunteer. And okay, you from South Africa, let's go. And we're going to go to Cape Town. Come on. So I met this little kid, Brian, right? And cutest little thing in the world. And every night before I went to bed, he would ask me to perform a special magic trick. But see, Brian was a little bit different than all of the other children. So all the other children I could train to do magic. Their cognitive skills were still pretty fluid. But little Brian was in a wheelchair. And he was like, you know, Daniel, what am I going to do? I don't feel worthy. I can't do the magic. I can't. So I turned Brian into my stage manager. So he was like Boss Brian, right? He's like, lights on, curtains open, whatever Daniel needs, you get it for him. Man, that kid's eyes lit up so big. But again, every night before he went to bed, he would beg me to do this magic trick for him. And let me introduce you to Brian. He was born with HIV.
When the cold bites your bones and gets in your
I have some of these special things back here. Hang on one sec. This is the second trick I ever learned as a magician. So I have a couple balloons. Go ahead and pick one of your choice. Great. Okay. Got it. Good. Okay, and I want you to look at it. Make sure there's no bunny rabbits inside, little pins or holes or other little HIV scientists. Okay, good. Good? All right, I'm going to ask you to blow it up for me. By all means, take your time. Yeah, keep going. Just get all your hot air out this morning. Okay, that's good. Great. Yeah, a little too much. Let a little out. A little more. A little more. A little more. That's good. Now, can you tie it for me? And you're a doctor. Okay. This is scary. Might I suggest never go into surgery, okay? Because you ain't working on me. No, I'm kidding. Okay. I'm going to ask you to hold my microphone if you would, but close to my mouth. If you would just touch the point of that needle, tell everybody how sharp that is. Good? Okay. No scotch tape on the balloon? Okay. This is for Brian. Okay, you can drop that down now. So let's talk about what it's like to live as a gay man in New York City with HIV, okay? Everything you saw in that first video is everything that I go through on a daily basis. Am I ever going to find love? Am I always going to be alone? Are my parents ever going to re-accept me to come home? Because when they found out, when I shared my diagnosis with them, when I launched my multi-million-dollar tour, and I was told that I was a liability and could never be a magician ever again, they were very adamant not to come home. AIDS was not to be a part of the family. It would destroy the family's name. In 2010, Andy had given me a call on October 6th. He was rushed to Beth Israel Hospital in New York City. He was really battling PCP pneumonia. I don't want to say he was fighting AIDS because AIDS is not a disease, and we need to change that language today. It is not a virus. You cannot contract it. Andy was combating PCP pneumonia. And they were about to intubate him, just tubes down his throat to keep him breathing. And he asked me to come down to the hospital as soon as possible because he didn't want to suffer anymore, because he felt like nobody loved him with HIV/AIDS. I mean, how does a young boy... So I got down to the hospital and I was too late. They had already intubated him. The unfortunate thing is I had to call home to track down my mother and father to get the medical decision-making turned over to me to have the tubes pulled out so I could honor Andy's wish. See, I had stopped taking my medication prior to seeing Andy. I was on a triplet and I couldn't deal with the side effects. The result of Andy's dropping into that PCP pneumonia was a result of him not taking the medication. He was an AZT boy, so he didn't want to have to try anything else. And I thought I was going to die just like Andy. And an hour after they had removed the tubes, after my parents said in less than 10 seconds that they wanted nothing to do with him or the virus ever again, do whatever I want with him. And an hour it took him, as I'm holding his hot, pink, warm hands, that turned into just a deep, blue, cold soul. I thought I was going to become my brother. I thought I was going to die that way. So in 2011, I tried to take my life. You'll see the scars on my arms if you ever see them. They're huge. And I was found minutes before I bled out. Minutes. Rushed to the hospital. And it took every single person in this room, every single doctor, social worker, colonoscopy people, to put this Humpty Dumpty back together again. And today I am back on stage performing. Today I have spoke to close to 500,000 youth all over the world on my story. Today I am an escape artist. So this is my reality. This is my reality that I share with youth. Every 3 months it's about $250 for me to go get my HIV blood management work. Sometimes it's 5 vials of blood, sometimes it's 12, maybe more. It sucks. 1 pill a day to suppress the virus. I'm on Triumec. It's about $2,300 a month. That's $76 a day that I have to come up with. Reality. 1 pill a day for my depression and bipolar, because I have a lot of personalities and I embrace each one. You'll get to meet them all. Therapy, $100 a session, once a week. So basically the total cost per day to manage my health is $99.33. Monthly, $2,979. Annual, I have to find $33,778.90 just to suppress the virus, just to keep me in a healthy mental state, just to live. Add on rent, electric, food, gas, clothes, a little bling, phone, internet, cable. Annually, just to survive with the basics, I have to be able to make an income of over $62,000. That doesn't include vacations, cars, anything else. This is my reality today. This is the reality of any youth in New York who is diagnosed with the virus. So I guess if they get silly with the willy, they should start wrapping it up. But this is the other reality. See, the reality isn't so much the damage of the expenses. It's the damage of what each and every one of you may think of me being a homosexual, HIV-positive human being. And that perception today changes on World AIDS Day. Today I am human. Today I am the guy who put a needle through a balloon. And today I am the guy who's going to get tied up in a straitjacket in just a minute, because I want the last perception of me to be that I am a human being as an escape artist. And that's it. And that's what matters most. I am not some dirty disease. I am a human being full of love and life. And that's it. So Andy's going to stay with us for the rest of the conference. I hope that's okay, along with Dab. I'll keep adding little things to make things very exciting for us. And it's great to be a pillar of hope for a lot of voices today. But I don't let the HIV rule who I am. I mean, really, my first love, and I will never give up that dream again, is to get back on stage performing, sharing my story in national magazines all over. And It's important for us to remember we are all HIV equal in this room. You have an HIV status, I have an HIV status. I'm positive, some of you are negative. I bet some of you don't even know. So I might recommend get tested if you're getting silly with the willy, okay? That goes for the doctors too, you are not exempt. It's super uncool if you don't know your status. So here's what I'd like to do. I'd like to leave you with one last thing. I need some help. I need some help. I need some help. I need some help. I need help. I need help. You can help me. Let's go. Come on. I want to leave you with who I am. I want to leave you as an escape artist before we get into the excitement of the rest of the conference. Okay. Have you ever seen one of these? Don't ever try to get it through TSA when you're flying. You will get a pat down. Okay, can I borrow you for a sec? I'm going to ask you to be my human mic stand, if you would. Just right there. Great. I'm going to strap myself in. I'm going to ask you to start with the top buckle, going down to the bottom buckle. And by all means, take your time and tie as tight as you want. I am the escape artist, so you're here to challenge me? Okay. What's that? Don't ask me if I want it tighter. You're the guy tying me up. And all the girls over here are like, tighter, tighter. So, and by all means, take your time because my time's almost up. Isn't everybody excited to be alive today? Okay, good. All right, let's do the arms. Nice and tight. How you doing? Nice and tight. Put some muscle. You got it? Good? Okay, and now the last one. It's the most action I've had all my life. Wow, that was, whew, all right. Okay, you good? Are you sure I'm in there tight? Okay, great, you can have a seat now. Thank you for touching me. Okay, and, all right. Let's give this a little volume and you can... That's what happens when I don't listen to you and not drink at dinner last night. Okay. Just give me a moment. Put myself back together again. Good? Okay.
I paid my dues.
Best thing you can do for me and anybody in this room who's living with HIV is give me a hug, give me a handshake, tell me I am no less human than you are. I want this World AIDS Day to be a new defining moment in your life. I want you to get everybody's phone number in this room, get their emails, find out what they're doing around the world. The only way we are going to get to zero is if we start working together. We need to start having conversations together. And we need to start just really, really teamwork. So I am excited about the teamwork that's going to happen today. I'm excited about the presentations that are going to happen today. And thank you for allowing me to entertain you for a few moments. Thank you. You just missed all the fun. I got tied up. And I know I had a couple martinis last night too. And You okay? Okay. No, really, don't be sorry. They'll fill you in later. I, got tied up, and there was a bear and my brother, and you'll be all right. Okay. So I have a couple minutes for questions if anyone wants to ask me anything before I move on to the next program. Anything about my personal life, what it's like. Yes? So, I kept an arm's distance from Andy just because he was still engaged in, just unhealthy behaviors. So it was best for me to just, be there for him on the phone when I could, but nobody should die alone. Nobody should die alone, no matter their past. Right? It's all about today, so we can have a better tomorrow. Yes? So the bizarre thing that just took place only a few days ago, my father actually passed from Alzheimer's. He passed a year later. December 6th will be the next anniversary since 2011, since he passed. He passed from Alzheimer's. And when I had showed up to the funeral, they had asked me to leave. Actually, all of my brothers grabbed their nieces and nephews. I didn't even know they had kids. And took them and scurried them away from me very quickly and said, "Don't touch your uncle, he's very sick." And I was asked to leave. Just a couple of days ago, I get a very random call. I don't even know how they got my number, from my mother wishing me a happy Thanksgiving. She left me a voicemail, and I called her, and we caught up, and I think I'm leaving it at there. My family is defined by transgender, bisexual, homosexual, heterosexual, couple cats. My friends are worldly, and they're amazing, and they're in this room, and they're around the rest of the world. So I thank you for being my new family. Time for one last question? Yes. I am on Triumec, and it is the best damn thing that's happened to my life since I have been through Kaletra. I've been through Kaletra. Diarrhea sucked, and I'm going to keep it real. Truvada. Hang on a sec, I got Lady Love. I was on Truvada, but I had to get off of that immediately. And the new regimen